There's been an update to the game, and one of the things that has been changed is the fact that levels that will have a rainbow eventually, once completed, are now having this rainbow glow about them. So we get to know up front that there are two places here in replication that will allow us to export our animals out, and then replication itself as well. If we get our walrus off it, we can see that it's also glowing, which means that will be one of the levels where we get to take an animal or multiples out and bring them into to maybe finally give us everything we need to solve the impossible level and solve the whole game. But we're not there yet. We still have plenty to do in this final level. But before we go there, I wanted to go back to Transplant, because I have unfinished level here, but I have since learned things to do with the rocket interactions that I think means we can complete this section. So starting with Y here, the problem was that if any buttons get pressed, the gray penguin's going to get dropped in the water and we lose. But we have learned that if we move the walruses in a way that makes the button presses simultaneous, then they cancel each other out, right? Which means if we do this, we get a cancel, no one falls out. Similarly, if we do this move, that's fine. From here, we're able to pick up the bomb. But once we've picked up this bomb, now our penguin has dropped, but that's fine, because what we're gonna be doing is getting recursively back in here. So he removes that rocket from there, and then this guy can re-enter Y with the bomb. If he re-enters Y with the bomb, we can do what we were doing. And now if we goes in here, he will throw the bomb onto the exit, which means now this walrus will stop. He will not be rocketed out. He can bring the bomb into here. But actually getting the bomb on the green walrus might be a misdirection. Instead, if we keep it on the blue, we can get those two walruses out of here, and then the green one get to just hop over the wall and finish the whole thing up. So that's why completed. There's still another level under the gray penguin. So following up from that, what we get to do is from here we get to pull out the blue walrus, and we could use his rocket to adjust the other penguin. But I think before we fully do that, we need to set it up before we export him. So if we use the mallet, we can use the green penguin to do step-by-step adjustments for the red. So from here, he can come here, red will stand under that level. Now we take the blue walrus out. If he goes there, he will push the red penguin down, and now he's ready to push this guy out, and we go to a race. So we're forced to come in here with the mallet, right? Because we needed the mallet to put ourselves in position. But we may struggle to complete this level with the mallet in place, because here he's just gonna go out. So this is definitely suggesting to me that we need to wipe the mallet. But what we can do, basically, is send him out and then enter with the green penguin with nothing on him, right? Because that will just change our input to null, and therefore both the red and the green penguin have nothing. And from here, I assume we're just purely doing normal penguin swapping. So I think we want to position the red under the red exit for this to work, because then we can go do this, and we win. So not too bad, not too bad. That's a race complete, and then we can just move down here, and that's Transplant complete. Just to keep our level selections done. And now we can return to where we were, which is go into Contraband. And we have lots of tools here that are just lying in the level selection, which I assume means we might be doing lots of things with importing the tools into the levels. We've got Shuttle. We start with nothing, but the way things are here, right, with like fishes after the block and grey penguins and grey walruses, I think we're gonna have to come back here with a mallet to even be able to do any of this stuff. So I think what we're gonna be looking at here is what can we do and with what tool. Resilience. Again, we get a penguin with a cane, and this guy is just trapped here alone. He won't be able to reach neither the exit nor the level to go deeper into it. So I assume we need to bring something for the red penguin so that he can throw other tools over. So what can we do here? So if we drop the magnet with the green guy, then we're able to pick up the hammer with the red guy, but then get him unstuck so he's not just forced to go into the level that we cannot solve. Then we can use the mallet to get them both out of the level lock, right? So now we're messing with the level selection in a way of like, well, we can't do this level, we need to push through, get further. And then we get resonance to check out. Let's see if we can do that one. This one is also recursive, but I assume we can do something if we get this rocket, right? Because with the rocket we can hop about. We just don't start a line in a way that lets us reach the exit, but we can reach this and then we can start with the rocket, because if we start with the rocket, we're able to travel here, then here and here and here, do all of the hopping, and then hop onto our exit. So that's the first level we can actually do here. We can continue using our tools. There is a bomb there, but if we pick it up, the magnet gets thrown to the other side where it could be picked up. That said, we probably want to do that with the hammer, because if we do it with the magnet, then we're just left with having to hammer a bomb penguin. That's not good. But here we can get the hammer back and the bomb is out, although we might need it for some of those levels. So we can go into sight with a hammer, which might be useful considering those exits. But actually the bomb was probably what we wanted here, because we need to have two of them go out. So the mallet is not what we need. Let's see, what about Dupe? This is just walruses, so we're definitely not needing to bring anything from the level selection. But I presume once again we need to use the recursion, right? So I think because of this green gate over there, I think it might be our green walrus that wants to have a bomb. Then we can have those two set up here, have him get thrown, but that's not enough. We need someone else to be thrown there first, because we need him to bounce when he gets there. So in order for there to be a bounce, we need to be able to explode twice. And so whatever happens, the green walrus with the bomb has to stay on the board, right? So if we have him hit from this side, yes, one walrus jumps over towards the exit and he jumps in here. And then we can have him come back in and have someone else right into him, and then we get to import the bomb to here. So then we get two bombs, because then they should be able to explode in ways that don't leave them in the level. And that's it done. Yes, we have duped the bomb and got all the walruses out of there. So let's see about having the bomb in here. We can just do it by throwing him here so he doesn't pick up the hammer, and then we can just kind of go through the levels. We can also stand on deeper, but again, it's like, who's gonna be bringing here anything? Actually, this is a yellow and a blue penguin, which means we cannot import anything here because they don't match the other penguins in the level selection. So here everything here is forced to start like this, but we have lots of tools and lots of recursive level selections. Well, to start with, we can only go up here, right? We don't have any other options. Everywhere else is blocked, so we can come in with the hammer. When we have the hammer, we're able to go towards the magnet, and then we come in with the magnet. When we have the magnet, we're able to throw yellow over there, and that lets the blue come out to the cane. When we have the cane, we're able to step down and go in with the spring. when we have the spring, we're able to bounce back down here, bounce over through here, bounce back, bring the rocket. When we have the rocket, we're able to jump through over here, get the bomb, and import the bomb. And when we have the bomb, we're able to explode the both of them, go over here, get the swap. And when we have the swap, we're able to just make them swap and reach their exit. And that's this level done, where we go through all of the tools to be able to get there. Yeah, we've definitely gone deeper. And now we can go to site and see if the bomb here is the tool we need. So again, we have to do it in a way where when we explode the first time, the red penguin doesn't get taken out, right? Because that's what we need. Then when we do it the second time, that's when we're gonna want to get them both out and into their exits. So I think for this next part, we need them to be both over on this side to reach those 2 extra levels. We can do that when we're on this side and we have a magnet and a hammer, right? Because if we hit the magnet from the back, they will both jump through. So now they're both here and we're onto Eevee. Again, no importing needed here from the top level, but definitely recursive solutions. Specifically, Blue will need the spring to get into his exit. But presumably, yeah, if we just replace for the spring, we're gonna fall out. We would have to be coming from this way. But then he needs to be able to reach that level selection as well. So we probably have to pre-place the yellow penguin to help with that. Potentially, we also have an option to give the yellow penguin the spring. Because then we're able to help him actually go recursive. So from here, he can bounce, we can bounce, and then yellow starts with the spring. But then, how does that help us? I think for the final move we're going to be doing is that blue will stand here and then yellow will stand where yellow starts, and then the blue can bounce with the spring infinite loop, right? And then if there are spring in here, he was going to bounce 2 slots and get into his exit. So that's the plan. It's just we get to execute this plan. If we do this, then they both have springs. It's just then, how do we get them both into positions? And blue also can't use that tunnel at the top because he will just fall out. Having the yellow with the spring here. The blue still has the cane, so we can still position him where we need him to be. Of course, once he picks up the spring, how do we get there, right? It feels like the yellow has to be in a position somewhere later when the blue will be able to bounce over him and into this slot here, which would imply the yellow ends up where the spring is. We can bounce him into there, which then, when blue picks up the spring, lets him go down below like this, or up above like this. Then what can they do? Blue can move to here, but then he kind of can go around like this. We can use the yellow then to walk ourselves backwards into here, because then we can jump over this wall, and then yellow just bounces back into this position and we can get out of here. There we go. So that's Eevee. Then on the other side, we get thrusters. So blue and yellow here, options for rockets, options for magnets. Who needs what is the question, because they both could benefit. Actually, it feels like maybe we want to duplicate the rockets and they both have rockets. So we can start with this, where we get him started with the rocket. Because then we have multiple rockets. Actually, if he does this now, because he will pick up the rocket and will throw the rocket as well. So that doesn't let us use it. The yellow has to pick it up himself now. But actually with this, we can have yellow pick up the rocket If we position him like this, ignore the blue, because then he can jump about, and now yellow starts with the rocket, and blue can pick up the rocket. But what is the next steps? I think he may need to go hide here, because the problem is if the blue moves from here, he will knock over yellow. He can jump back. We may have to do some multi-step things. So like this, yellow will jump over blue. Then jump back. He goes above. He can jump into his exit, and he can jump back into his exit, and that's thrusters done. This area seems a lot more about thinking what you need to import and where, rather than the level being super complicated, although the EV one was a little more challenging, but those feel like special optional levels, so that might be why. So that's everything in this little section done. We can now try and return to those other levels and think what did we need in them. We can come back with our items. So in resilience, we need a red penguin with something. So we've got our red guy with a mallet here, but it's difficult to go in if the green has a magnet on him. And then in Shuttle, actually, importing green with the mallet might be where we want to be, and we already stood on it with the mallet, so we can just go. We don't need to go on it again. It's nice of the game to remember that, so you don't have to redo it. But now I'm thinking, is it the mallet? I don't think it's the mallet. I think it's the magnet we need. So I was like, oh, it's graving. We need to hit them. No, I think we need to pull them and then also use the magnet throw to do this. So let's see if there's anything we can do here if we reset. If he gets the magnet... Oh, because the problem is, like, even if he gets the magnet here, what happens is, yes, the mallet takes over, so we need to somehow clear it out. So yes, it's the question of which of those levels is available first. Actually, what I think might be possible is if we do the mallet magnet combo again, but then we exchange the mallet for a bomb, we should be able to stand on that level at least with the bomb, because we're not gonna just use the mallet to throw everyone out. Does the bomb help? Well, at least he gets something, but that's still pretty stuck as far as he's concerned. It feels like maybe what we want to give him here is the spring, because if he has the spring, he can go jump through here and then bounce back to his exit. So that might be what we're trying to bring in, but for that to work, the red penguin has to bring it in. There is a spring here, but it's locked between the levels. Okay, so that would mean we can't do resilience until we've cleared Shuttle. So we have to figure out how we're doing that. How we're doing that potentially is we're hitting him with the hammer here, so he can come over and then he can just slide onto Shuttle. Import the magnet. With the magnet, we're able to move the animals here around. Right, so we can get that penguin to his exit. Then we can get that walrus out to eat the fish. Then the last part is throw that penguin out to eat the other fish, and we're done? Yes. So we just needed the right tools. From here, we will no longer get stuck by Shuttle, which means we can traverse this area more easily. But we still have to be careful about malleting with the magnet present. So we can grab the mallet and then we can grab the spring here. So then all we have to do is get him with the spring onto the resilience. So it's the question of how are we able to travel there. If we do this, he can hop over to this side. And then he can hop over back to this side, and then we're into resilience with the spring. So we can throw it over to him. Now when he picks it up, he can't go to his exit, but he can't go back to this level and start with the spring. when he starts with the spring, he's able to bounce here, bounce over the obstacle, get to the other side, bounce back, we're done. So there is that one more level below here, but I'm not actually sure how to access it. Like what tool combination would I use? Because it's not with the spring, at least not by the spring by itself. There is a lack of wall here down this side in the middle position, which means we can't like get some sort of bounce off from here. If the penguins were swapped now, the spring could bounce off him and fly across, but how would the spring get into the bounce? There isn't like a corner there to offer the infinite loop, right? So I don't think I know right now, but instead we can look at finishing the level. So only the green penguin has to go to an exit. And that feels like an exit you go through with a spring. So let's see what we can do. We can get a magnet and a spring configuration. Here we can drag him through to this side. And then we can drag him through again. We may have to do some tool trading in order for this to work. So like we send the magnet there. So now this magnet is on this side, but we don't want to lose the spring. He can hop over here, throw the spring over. Then he's gonna throw the bomb over. And we may want to start the other way then. We may want to start with the green penguin having the spring, the green has the magnet. Because then when we're trading, they're gonna be the right orientation. So throw him over, then we can start trading, right? The magnet goes over there. We can hop over to get in the right position. Now he will pick up the spring. And he can come over here as well with the spring on the green penguin. Now he's here. He can bounce through this. But potentially we want them swapped here, right? We want them swapped around so that the green penguin can bounce off the red. And then he will be able to go to his exit. It would be nice if we didn't have this bomb here, because it does mess with us a bit. Well, let's see what we can do. We can get them like this. Then he can bounce to there, and we can move them by one, bounce again. So that's Contraband complete. And that means we can come out and pick up this thing. What is this thing then? Okay, something's happening. Restrict. Disables movement along an axis. Okay, so if we have a horizontal arrow, we can only go horizontally. We have vertical arrow, we only go vertically. Okay, that's less exciting than I was hoping that last item was going to be, because that means yeah, that guy is now stuck. He can't move up and down. Only the other penguin can go up and down. But that means they can both get in here, and we can go into restriction, which I assume is going to teach us more about this item. Yes, it's going to teach us a lot about this item, I'm going to say. So immediately activates on pickup. Okay, so that basically meant because we were moving vertically and we stepped on an arrow that's horizontal, we stopped, right? So that gets our movement restricted, and it does add a stop to the equation. So here, this penguin, he can't go down because he's restricted to just this. But I assume, since we have a walrus with a rocket, I'm gonna be using the rocket to get that penguin blasted down a level. I presume that may work. So what we have to do is get him under that walrus. So if we swap them around like that, he's under the walrus. So we can push him down one level, and then he can move into his exit. One lesson learned. Now we can't move down, we can only go this way, and then go down to Axial. So now this penguin can only go up and down, and the walrus can only go up and down, but the walrus can also get a magnet, and I assume pull this penguin about, but we want to do that without falling through the wall too early. But that means we should be able to use this wall down here. So if we get the walrus pick up the magnet, blue penguin come down here, right? We can pull him once here, use this wall, then go up to this lane. And then after that, walrus exits and the penguin can move up to his exit. Okay, well, with this setup, we're basically moving arrow by arrow because they've restricted it so much that it's actually helpful that we don't fall off the sides. We've got Ray. Here we're doing teleporters and restrictions. I think what's going on, since the restrict is in the exit, right? When the blue penguin comes here, he will just stop. But that means what we're trying to achieve is green walrus on the teleporter exit, and blue penguin goes in and launches him. But how does the blue penguin get there to do that, right? Because yes, he can change his position by going through here, but that moves him down. How can we get him to move up to where the yellow/green teleporter is? If we put him on this exit, and then we have the walrus come up through, we can launch him there. But that means the walrus can't be both on that exit while that penguin comes through and launch him over there. So what is the deal with the order here? If we get them set up for this again, he goes over there, but we don't go to the exit immediately, right? We can get the walrus to now throw him back here. So that now the walrus is on the exit, and he comes through here, goes to his exit, and launches the walrus. And everything is done. Where else can we go? We can go to embedding. So here we've got a hammer and the arrow. And apparently, if we hit the arrow penguin in the restricted direction, they will be launched. Interestingly, there's only like 3 things to learn about the restrict, so apparently we know everything we need to know about it. But where does that get us? We have a gray penguin here. I assume we want to do something with him as well. If we let this penguin stay here, then he stays aligned to the gray penguin, so then it lets us move him over to here, right? Instead of just having him stand like that. Does that help? Possibly, maybe. We can then potentially shove him like this, because then it can allow for the yellow penguin to bounce, right? And there we go. There's his exit. From here, we can go to T. We've got arrows and we've got the restrict, and he has a hammer. So it feels like both of them want the spring to exit, but obviously both can't have the spring to exit. And therefore, somehow the restrict is going to come to use here. There's also a wall strategically placed here, so I think we're able to trade items. But we have to come at it from this side, right? So if he comes at, picks this up, then the hammer guy can go through, pick up the spring, drop the mallet. So then we can continue trading like this. So now when we do the next trade, the restrict gets thrown into the blue exit, which means when the blue penguin exit, he will just get stopped here, right? And the green has the spring. So from here, all we need to do is get the green guy to his exit. With a mallet and a spring, that's quite a tricky one because it's gonna be easy for the mallet to just throw the spring into a loop and then he will be launched. But it's fine to do that here. From here, he can get to this position. bounce from here, bounce from here. Not quite, but he's close. It's just I need to get the blue to the right of him. Which means there's probably some steps before this where the blue ends up in the middle at the bottom here. Yeah, so he's like this before our other moves. And then if we bounce to here and bounce to here, he can come up that. And then the green can just bounce. The blue is then able to just exit himself by stopping on the restrict. There we go. We have to back up so we can... okay. We have to back up, but we have to figure out a different way to approach those extra levels. If we go to here, we can just do vector from the start. So we've got a restricted penguin and a rocket. So this feels like we're gonna be using the rocket to push him, right? But we need to do it multiple times, so we can't immediately lose the rocket. So if we come through here, we can push him once. Then the rocket can come through to the top. That will let him stop here. And then when the rocket comes down through here, he gets pushed again over there. The rocket hops over him, then pushes him again. Hops over as well, pushes him again. And now he can move by himself. The other restrict stops him. And that's vector. We can do this road around and then we're able to get into Morphism. What we've got? We've got a mallet and a restrict, and this is a recursive level, so I assume it's because we want both of these animals to be restricted so that we can throw them over. So we need to get one of them restricted and then chucked over. But first we need to check the walrus because we need to bounce to that recursive level selection, right? So we go here, we can come in with the yellow penguin already restricted. Then now we have two pieces of restriction. We can make the red walrus restricted, but we want to throw him to the right side because of the fish, which means we probably still want to go level deeper. Throw the yellow, then throw the walrus so that he's entering here with the restriction, because then what we get is we can throw him here into the fish. But we still need to align to be able to push the yellow to his exit. If we go through here, the blue is where he needs to be, yellow comes down here. We push him out, he's exited. Now go through, push the walrus to the fish. And that's Morphism all done. There is a level under the penguin with the magnet, but that's just not happening, right? We probably have to bring something with us here. So all there is to do is to go to the exit. So we just need to plan out a path of the restriction arrows that lets us go there. If we go through here, like one of those two horizontal arrows in the middle row is the one we're going to be picking up as our second to last move, because then we want to be moving to the right to the exit and stop. But that means we need to clear out the in-between steps, right? We need to go through this area and make sure there aren't any arrows that are going to stop our movement here, and also not get stuck when we're doing this. So once we come to here, we're stuck on kind of doing this path, we get stuck on P. If we go through here, we get stuck this, we go to Morphism, right? So this isn't correct. If we start from this side, we can clean everything here, but then we don't have a path back to where we want to go. If we go here, we're still blocked by this arrow. If we follow this path, we can grab this, and we go all the way across the level to the exit. And that's restriction complete. So we have made it for 2 level selections in replication. From here, We can use the magnet to drag this guy down, and we have an option to go to Pickpocket. And that's a level selection where masks come into play, because now we even have a free mask we can pick up ourselves, not just a mask on a grey penguin. So I guess we're learning more about that as well, because as much as we have seen it work before, and it only has the one rule of steals item, we now have possibilities of using them in ways that isn't just, oh, the grey penguin took our tool away, right? We could be doing trades of some sort or getting rid of items we don't want. Also curious because we're still on 79 out of 94 rules, right? So we have all the items, but not all the rules. We're missing quite a few things in advanced, right? Advanced, it shows the rainbow portal, but it's not just to do with the rainbow portal, right? It's to do with doing all the different advanced things like importing, exporting, doing recursive puzzles, right? So there's quite a few things here we have no idea about. We also are missing two things about teleporters. We're missing one rule about rockets and one rule about the weather. It's weird because it's like the second thing, and single thing here is like free an animal using this item, that item, and this works and this works. So I'm wondering if I'm missing something about additional tool interactions, or did I miss something completely silly? But I guess we may still learn it as we go. But yes, that is curious that there are still so many advanced rules we haven't even touched on yet, because that means there's more craziness coming our way. But I think that's all gonna be next time, when we're gonna be doing lots of stealing. So let me know in the comments how you think the progress is going. If you enjoyed my content, consider liking or subscribing. Thank you to channel members for supporting the channel, and I will see you soon on another adventure.